people, and this makes me extremely, extremely happy. I'm Dr. Katia Paz Goldfarb. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Hispanic Serving Initiatives at Montclair State University. We have been working with HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, for a very long time. We are members. By us being members, you get to be exposed to all of the initiatives from the side of internships to scholarships. So please also remember to check their website, but also remember to check our website, Hispanic Serving Initiatives at Montclair. There's a lot of information on scholarship, fellowships, internships, but also all the scholarships through the HACU link and internships. So I'm very happy that you are here. I'm very happy that you have this interest. I'm very happy that you get to see my face. Not in person yet, hopefully soon. And if you need anything that now you have a face to reach out to, I want to introduce my coworker, Marilyn Moya, and she will be assisting us. And of course, she's always my right hand, assisting all of us. We are a very large group, so I appreciate if you keep muted, but if you have questions that you use the chat to ask them, and Marilyn will help us. It is my pleasure to invite and have here and host Reynaldo Decerega and Ebony King, both from HACU. And I'm going to give you, Reynaldo, the floor. Thank you, everybody, and keep in touch.
Thank you so much. Really happy to be here. Really happy to be speaking to all of you with my colleague, Ebony, about HACU's National Internship Program. As you can see, HACU is all about opening doors of opportunity. And we have two programs that are focused on students. The federal, and I am the Assistant Vice President for the federal program. And Ebony can speak about the corporate program a little bit later. Just some basic information. First of all, we have the question of what is HACU and what do we do? And if we go to the next slide, my colleague Ebony will play a video that showcases the message from our President and CEO, Dr. Flores, about HACU's mission and the National Internship Program.
Combining a college education with an internship can open the door to many opportunities. Getting real-world experience in the federal or private sector can help students discover their career path. I'm Antonio Flores, President of HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. For more than 25 years, our partnerships have made possible over 12,000 paid internships for students nationwide. At HACU, we are committed to championing Hispanic higher education success. Combining.
Thank you, Ebony. And then if you go to the next slide and reiterating some of the things that Dr. Flores was speaking about, HACU was established in 1986, and it's a nonprofit organization that advocates on behalf of Hispanic serving institutions. Hispanic serving institutions like Montclair State, which has a population of 25% or more that is Hispanic. We have over 470 institutions across the US and Puerto Rico and abroad that are part of our membership. We offer a variety of programs for students, university administrators, and faculty. The National Internship Program obviously is focused for students, and we have offices in different parts of the country. The national headquarters is based in San Antonio. We have an office in Washington, DC, and then we have one in the Western region. Next. So we place students in federal and corporate internships in Washington, DC, and offices nationwide. The opportunities are year-round. We have a history that goes back to 1992 when HNIP started with 24 students and one federal agency, and we currently place over 400 students per year. Next slide. Why intern? Why intern with HACU? It's a paid internship. $610 for undergraduates, $680 for graduates. There's free travel to orientation and internship site. Now, obviously, we're living in the age of COVID, and internships this year will all be virtual. So the idea of coming to Washington, DC and living here is not one that is available. Hopefully, once we get past the pandemic, it'll be an option. Along with coming to Washington, D.C. and working, obviously, HACU provides a housing service. Once again, during COVID, we're not doing that. There are no application fees. There's professional development workshops and cultural events. There's an academic credit that you can work with in order to get credit from your home institution. And then we offer monitoring and evaluation. Next slide, please. How do I become a HACU intern? Well, you need to be enrolled in a degree-seeking program. I'm sure all of you, obviously on this call, are students and enrolled at Montclair State. You need to have finished your first year of college before the internship starts. A 3.0 GPA is recommended, but not required. We have worked with students that have a GPA of less than a 3.0. You need to be authorized to work in the US. HACU is extending the eligibility period for recent graduates. You must be within 2 years of graduation by August of 2021. It's very important for you to know that all individuals, regardless of race, sex, age, sexual orientation, or disability, may apply. HACU is an equal opportunity employer. Even though we have the name Hispanic in our organization's name, we work with students of every racial and ethnic background. Next slide. The HNIP application process, I'm sure all of you are familiar with applying for programs and colleges online. We have a website, www.haku.net/HNIP. Like any application, you'll have to add your basic information, your address, your emergency contact. There's an education section where you tell us where you are in your studies. References, the references can come from your home institution or from other experiences. You have to add your work history. You also, many of you work during your undergraduate and graduate experiences, so those are important to note. You need to write an essay, and that essay is very important because it becomes a writing sample for the agency supervisor who might hire you. And then there's documentation that needs to be uploaded: the enrollment verification, the official transcript, and the letter of recommendation. Next slide, please. The selection process. It's a three-legged stool: HACU, the student, and the internship agency. The applications are matched to internship descriptions provided by the sponsoring agencies. So the student has the talent, the agency has the opportunity, HACU is the connector. Hiring managers at the sponsoring agencies conduct phone interviews and select top candidates. Most internships are offered 1 to 2 months in advance, but offers vary. Housing, travel, and orientation arrangements begin when you accept the offer, but obviously during COVID, it's a little bit different. We do not have the final say as to where interns work. The agency is the one that makes the selection. Next. So some of the places that you could end up working at, I won't read them all, I'll read a few. The Broadcasting Board of Governors, the US Department of Treasury, the Library of Congress, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, National Science Foundation, among others. Next. Internship locations exist all over the country. The federal government is an expansive entity and it has a presence outside of Washington, D.C. Sometimes offices in other parts of the country desire internships or interns. Some of the places where those internships occur are Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dallas, Texas, New York, New York, and Winmore, Pennsylvania. Having said that, during the age of COVID, you would probably end up in an internship location if you are local to it. So let's say you lived in Miami, Florida, and there was a position in Miami. As a local resident of the city or that jurisdiction, that's where you would work. It would be highly unlikely if you were from Miami and all of a sudden we would send you off to work in Fort Collins, Colorado. Next slide. The internship dates. We have 3 sessions: spring, summer, and fall. The spring is currently going on. The summer, the deadline is coming up. That is a 10-week program, and there are 2 sessions within it. The first one is called regular, and the second one is called quarter. The application is open, and the deadline is February 12th for the regular and 26th for the quarter. It's a 10-week program. Then in fall 2021, there's a 15-week program. The application is open right now. It's open in January, and the deadline is closed. Or I should say the deadline is June 4th of 2021. So there's time for that one. Next slide, please. This is just a slide that shows you some of the characteristics of our spring interns from last year. A year ago, we had 25% of the group that was male. The other percent, which was like 74, was female. As I mentioned, we take on all students from different ethnic groups. Asian was 7%. African American was 9%. Hispanic was 39%. Caucasian was 28%. And there are those that do not identify themselves. We had students from California, Colorado, Idaho, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and so forth. Next slide, please. So the experience brings on a very powerful results or tangible results. For example, Amanda Kratz, who you see on the left-hand side of this slide, was an intern who is now working full-time as an employee at the Public Affairs Office. Max Barrientos at the Library of Congress. He was an intern who worked there and found that working at the Library of Congress made him more competitive for graduate school. Next slide, please. And then Christina Polanco was an intern at the US Census Bureau, and now she's a contractor with the census. All of these stories point to the fact that this program opens up opportunities for a lot of people. Next slide. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ebony, who will talk about the corporate. Ebony?
Thanks, Bernie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ebony King, and I'm Haku's Student Services Manager, and I work closely with Haku's corporate internship program. As of this year, we currently work with 6 corporate partners: Corteva AgriScience, Oracle, Molson Coors, Future Housing Leaders, Google, and XPO Logistics. About our corporate internship program. Although it is open to all majors, a lot of our corporate partners typically go for majors in STEM, business, and communications. It just really depends on the needs of our partners and the job descriptions that they send over to us at that current time. But like I mentioned, it is open to all majors. And also another thing to differentiate between the federal and the corporate internship program, unlike the federal where there are deadlines to apply for like the spring, summer, or fall, the corporate internship program has no set deadline. It is a year-round program, meaning that you could apply multiple times throughout the year, and there's no particular deadline for the spring, summer, or fall to submit your application to the corporate internship program. And we have a testimonial from Marissa Rodarte, who interned with Kellogg's. And because of her internship, she ended up getting a full-time role with Kellogg's. And that's another thing as well. With the federal and the corporate internship program, depending on how well you do on the internship, HACU typically has a high conversion rate of interns to full-time hires. So it is very important to do well on these internships, because if you really want a full-time job with that agency or that corporation, looking at your work experience overall with them, it's going to help you secure that potential full-time role with that agency or corporation. The corporate application process. Similar to the federal application process, you would apply to the link on the screen. Only difference is that it's instead of HNIP, it's /CHNIP. And also similar to the federal application process, we do match our candidates to the available job postings that our corporations do send to us. And depending on those job postings, we will reach out to those students that match those qualifications via email to see if they want to do a phone interview with HACU. Now, typically the phone interview with HACU is more behavioral based, meaning we're going to be learning more about your personality, as well as to gauge your interest in the position that we're talking to you about, and to just see why you would be a good fit for a HACU intern. And if you pass the first round of interviews with us, you would then be sourced over to those corporations, and they'll conduct their own interviewing process for that internship or full-time role. Now, one thing that I do like to stress to students is that if you're not comfortable giving phone interviews, I would definitely go to career services on your campus to have someone coach you through that process, as well as to have someone work with you on your resume and your application. A lot of times, our corporate partners typically do tell us that some of the resumes are not as polished as they would like for them to be. So in order to prevent that from happening, because the internship program is very competitive, there's not a lot of spots available, especially on the corporate side as well. We want everybody to go to career services to their departments and have someone just go over that process with them. So looking over your application, reviewing your resume, and just coaching you through that mock interview so that when you talk to us over the phone, you're very comfortable. And then when you submit your application to us, you're not missing any important information like education or valuable work experience that would help you stand out above the rest of the candidates for these internships and full-time roles. And we also offer scholarships as well for our students. Currently, we have 2 that are open. We have Oracle and Interfaith Youth Corps, and the deadline to apply for both of those scholarships is May 28th. And the great thing about our scholarship program is that there's only one application for all of our available scholarships. So you don't have to keep submitting applications for multiple scholarships that we do offer. It's just one main application for each scholarship that we have open. Next slide. And just more information about our scholarship program. Of course, you have to be attending a HACU member school, which of course Montclair State is. If you have previous internship or work experience on your application, that'll help you stand out as well as having leadership experience in a student org or club on campus. And a bonus is that if you have international or national experience with conferences or even participating in a study abroad program, will help you stand out in terms of being accepted for a scholarship award with us. Our Adolescent Leadership Institute. This is the student track portion of our annual conference. We are hoping to have it in person this year at the Gaylord Rockies Resort and Convention Center in Denver, Colorado, from October 30th to November 1st of this year. And the Leadership Institute is basically a 3-day career and leadership program that brings over 500 plus US students to meet with recruiters and professionals from different industries. So you get the chance to network and attend professional workshops presented by our corporate and federal partners that we do work with here at HACU. Our Leaders in Residence program. Students who receive a scholarship to attend the Adolescent Leadership Institute are sponsored automatically by HACU, and they are automatically part of the Leaders in Residence program. And our scholarship includes round-trip airfare, hotel, lodging, registration, and meals. So you have to handle anything for the student track portion of the conference. Everything we take care of on that end. So your job is just to go to the conference and have a good time and learn from our corporate and federal partners about their available internships and full-time roles. Throughout the Leaders in Residence program, you will participate in leadership development webinars during the academic year to help you get comfortable with certain skills that you're going to need when you get into the workforce. And also you will serve as an ambassador on your campus to promote HACU programs and services to your fellow peers. They may not know about HACU as a resource to their or that's on their campus. And also you will receive complimentary HACU student affiliate annual membership. The deadline to apply is June 25th, so the application is still open, and we will begin selecting those leaders in residence early in August of this year. And just a brief overview of student services and what my department does. Like I mentioned before, we have our scholarship program, our student track portion of our annual conference. We just launched our job board, Pro Talento, where students can submit their resumes to be reviewed by employers, and employers can post their jobs. And if you visit the link on the screen, you'll be able to learn more about the job posting for Pro Talento. We also host regional summits for our member institutions. This year, we're going to be having our regional summit in Texas, which is where I'm based out of, with Texas A&M University San Antonio, and that'll be happening on February 26th of this year. We also have our CIA boot camp program, which is typically only for freshman students. It was supposed to happen last year, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we have had to postpone it indefinitely until further notice. But it is a program where 30 freshman students are selected to travel to Washington, D.C., where we take care of your travel, your lodging, et cetera. And they will get to visit CIA headquarters in Washington, D.C. to learn more about what they do as a federal agency and more about their available internships and full-time roles that they have with that agency. And we will be posting more information about the CIA bootcamp, hopefully really, really soon, once we have a definitive plan on how to proceed with moving on with this program, whether it's going to be a virtual or an in-person event later on in the year. And we also have our study abroad program as well that you can learn more about at the link below with our international opportunities. And as we mentioned before, we have our 3 offices in California, Washington, D.C., and San Antonio. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And just an overview of our upcoming events for 2021. We will have our Capital Forum in April of this year, and it will be a virtual event. And also, like I mentioned before, our 35th annual conference, which is going to be in late October, that we're hoping to have in person in Denver, Colorado. And that is the end of our presentation. So if there are any questions in the chat, we'll be more than happy to answer them.
So I saw some questions in the chat. I think maybe we can start with that. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I see one question that says, to participate in the internship, do I need to finish my first year and then apply, or apply during my first year? If you will have finished your freshman year by May of 2021, and you'll be officially a sophomore, as a result of that, you can apply for our summer internship. So if you are currently a freshman and you foresee finishing your freshman year without any difficulties by the end of the spring semester, you can certainly apply, okay? If you're an international student and somebody is eligible to work as an OPT, I believe that you can apply for at least the federal agency program, just as long as you have proof of being able to work in this country. I don't know about Ebony and what the rules are on the corporate side.
It will be the same for the corporate as well. As long as you have work authorization here in the United States, you'll be eligible to apply to our internship program, the corporate internship program.
Somebody's graduating in the summer. Can they apply for an internship even though they will be graduating during or before the date of the internship? You have a full year after you graduate to participate in the program for the federal. So let's say you graduate in May of 2021, you could participate in the summer, fall, and spring of the following year. There's a question that says, is the Leadership Institute only for undergrads? Ebony?
Yes, it is typically only for undergraduate students.
I'm looking.
There
How
was,
would working remotely look like for those internships? Am I able to work remotely without being in close proximity to the internship location? At this point, yes, you can work remotely because all our internships are virtual on the federal side, and there's no limitation as to where you could be working from. You could be in Florida, you can be in California, you could be in Texas. That's all fair game in this reality. I'm a freshman and just started my second semester of MBA. Would you be eligible for an internship? Yes. Does this give you any college credit? You would have to work the terms of that out with your home institution and the department that you would want the credit from. Are those 6 companies the only options for corporate internships, Ebony?
Yes, those are our current corporate partners that we do work with. We're always talking to new corporations that do want to partner with us. So we may have some more that are added on later on in the year, but those are our current 6 at the very moment.
Tatum Thompson, please unmute yourself so you can ask your question.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Tatum.
Hi, Tatum.
So I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. The first one is there a separate application? You might have answered this already. Is there a separate application for either the federal and corporate internships?
Yes, they're 2 separate applications.
Okay. And if you are placed for an internship by HACU, will you be required to go to the Leadership Summit or Leadership Institute?
No, that's those are 2 different entities with HACU. If you
Okay.
with us, that's just for that internship program. The Leadership Institute, like I said, is a separate entity from that. If like a faculty member at your university wants to sponsor students to go to the Leadership Institute, there are fees that do come with that, but that's not like a hand-in-hand type of thing. It's like a separate entity from both of those.
Are there also fees associated with being placed for an internship?
No.
Okay.
Like Ray mentioned before, we typically do handle everything in terms of housing and travel to the internship site, because of course, due to the pandemic, we have not really been having in-person internships at this time, but there are not any fees associated with students having to participate in our internship program.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? We can just take them, unmute yourself and we'll handle and manage it here.
I think that there is a question about a transfer student. If this is your first semester at the MSU, if they can apply.
Yes, as long as you're enrolled at MSU and you are enrolled as a student of good standing, you can apply for this program.
I have to do, hi, thank you so much for having us. I have to do my practicum this summer for my grad. And would that count for like an internship with the corporate or with HACU? Would that count towards my practicum? Do you think I can use it?
I don't believe that would count towards that with us, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check with my colleagues on that, but I don't think a co-op internship would apply to HACU.
And do you know like how long are the internships? Like, are they full-time?
Yes, these are full-time internships. For the federal, I believe rates 10 to 15 weeks.
Yes, 10 weeks in the summer and 15 weeks in the spring and summer.
But would it be full-time every, per week? I just want to know if I can do my practicum and apply for the corporate or the HACU.
The internships are typically 40 hours per week, so it is like an actual full-time opportunity.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Reina, I will encourage you to ask the other way around to your actually advisors if the other way around will work, if they will take this internship as the practicum that you need.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so do it both ways, just to make sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, in terms of the hours, I'm finishing, I think I have like one more semester left, so I'm finishing that. Does the hours vary? Like, do you get to choose from like morning or like maybe afternoon, or I'm still taking classes?
You're a full-time employee during the internship, 40 hours a week, 9 to 5.
Oh, 9 to 5, okay.
Reynaldo, I think there is a question, the recommendation letter for the internship. No, I will believe that the answer is no. It doesn't need to come from somebody from HACU, correct?
No, the recommendation letter should come from somebody at your home institution, either a career counselor or a professor that can speak to you, to who you are.
Excuse me, it can be from someone you have worked with?
Yeah, if you have a supervisor that you work with, that would be a good source for a reference.
Right, thank you.
Could it be your GA supervisor? Like if I'm a graduate assistant, could it be my GA supervisor?
Yeah, I think that's fair. That works.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. I was just wondering if you were accepted for this opportunity, around what time would you be notified about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's say you were applying for the summer. Ideally, you would know sometime in April, no later than the middle of May. Once again, HACU can't pressure the agencies in terms of the hiring process. We remind them of the fact that deadlines exist for students to make decisions. Ideally, it would be at least 6 weeks prior to the start of the program.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I have a question. So for IT majors, like IT and computer science majors, do you guys usually recommend we apply for the federal or the corporate internships?
I would definitely say, I'll say I would go with the corporate, just because, like I mentioned, we work with companies like Google, Oracle, Logistics that look for those types of majors. Actually, tomorrow we're going to be co-hosting a webinar with Google, and they will be discussing their available internships and full-time roles. I can post a link in the chat and everybody can go register if you're interested in learning more about their technical roles, like such as computer science or computer engineering that they're looking for with their available roles. So I can definitely post that in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
That'll be great. Thank you, Ebony. Yes.
I would just say that, I'm not disagreeing with Ebony, but the wider you cast your net, the more opportunities you have of possibly getting. So, obviously corporate's great, but I know that there's a high demand for STEM, computer science people in the federal government as well. More questions, please?
Yes, if we apply for this internship and we're accepted, do we get to choose what corporate agency we get to work for?
I think you're
Google and different ones.
So for the corporate, I can't speak for. Ebony, you want to take that question in regards to the corporate program?
Sure. What I would typically do, if we have multiple job postings that we have available on our website, it will probably be easier if you put on your application which one you're most interested in learning more about. So that way we know that when we're looking over your application that you have a particular corporate agency or corporation that you want to work with based on those job descriptions that are posted on our website. So it'll probably be easier that way if you post that with your application, and then we can just go from there to see if you will really be a good fit for that potential corporation.
Okay, thank you so much, Ebony.
We have some questions regarding what are the best agencies to work for if you're in a business major, like marketing or finance?
Ray, you're on mute.
The Department of Treasury takes on individuals with those academic backgrounds, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, even the Library of Congress. Every agency has a need for different kind of skills, and you could work as an accountant at the Department of Interior, or you could work as an accountant at the National Institute of Health. It's that big in terms of the opportunities that exist and within federal agencies.
I have a question. Depending on your major, is that where you get placed? Like depending on your major, or do you get to choose?
Your major is a big indicator as to where you go, because the agencies have job descriptions, and the job descriptions in many ways have to be compatible with your academic interest and your skills that you're developing as a result of your academic interest.
Okay.
And we have a question.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. I just have a question regarding if I apply for the corporate, could I also apply for the federal, or do I have to just choose one?
I say apply for both.
I agree. Definitely do both. Like you mentioned, Ray, it's better to have a wider net casted. So in case the opportunity doesn't arise to corporate, you can always fall back on the federal and potentially take that opportunity up as well. So definitely both.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to be a little bit biased here because that's family science and human development is my disciplinary world. So there is somebody who's asking about that. If you are from family science and human development, which agency will be more suitable?
Well, we take on all majors. Once again, the federal agencies have a need for all kinds of interest and skill sets. Somebody with that kind of degree could end up working at CDC, could end up working at NIH. It all depends. Even the US Department of Agriculture, is a huge department, and they're looking for all kinds of individuals with different skill sets. You shouldn't get stuck on the idea that you need to work at a certain agency because of your major. If an agency selects you, it's because they feel like you could be a good fit in supporting their efforts. So don't get stuck on, hey, I study this, I need to be this. you should be open to the possibilities. You guys are young enough where that should be your train of thought.
I echo that as an advisor, professor, etc. You know, open up, go for everything that you want, and you know, anything and everything. Open the doors, and also remember that in all of these agencies and all of these corporations, they have multiple offices within, HR offices, you know, policy making. So all of you will fit one way or another one. So I want to echo that as an advisor at the university.
I see there's a question that says, would there be flexibility for full-time internship if one is taking classes during the fall and spring semesters? You know, if you're in an internship, you're pretty much dedicating 40 hours of your week to the internship and the agency. People do take online courses, and you would have to figure out how to squeeze that in as part of your weekly agenda.
I see a question that says, what happens if you don't end up liking the internship?
You can always resign. You know, those things happen in life. You would handle the situation professionally, and if you want to go back to where you came from, you would tenure a letter of resignation and go back.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can go first.
Okay, hold that thought, please. I have a question sort of within the same vein of that. What happens, or is it a possibility for multiple, I guess, multiple different organizations to like request you or want to place you, or will only one get to?
No, you could have the potential of being offered multiple offers from agencies.
And so, okay, sorry, I'll let you finish if you were going to say more.
So if that happens, I think a lot of it is based on timing.
Mhm.
You know, if you get two offers in the same day, then you obviously know that you have a choice. Sometimes you get an offer on a certain date and then another one on another date, and then it becomes a little bit more tricky, especially if you accept it. Once you accept an internship, I think you have 24 to 48 hours to do so. You're locked in.
Right. And is there somewhat of like a portal or something where your offers will come through, or you'll be emailed personally?
So we have a program manager for internships,
Mhm.
and they work with the agency. Like I said in the PowerPoint, it's like a three-legged stool. There's HACU, there's the intern, and the agency. And there's this three-way communication going on between all three. And that's how you would get notification about your placement.
Okay. Okay. And so you would need to contact your like program manager, or I don't mean to get ahead of myself, but I'm just curious if you need to contact your program like coordinator or the actual firm to sort of like either reject or dismiss like the offer if you were to choose a different one.
You would work through the program manager. He's your conduit. He or she is your conduit to the agency.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
I have a question. I'm currently a junior at Montclair and I'm looking for HR positions in the summer. What would be the best to sign up for either corporate or the federal side?
Once again, I would suggest that you apply for both.
Okay, thank you.
I see a question that says, when there's a question like, will you be the first of your immediate family to graduate from college? Isn't talking about my parents and my siblings as well. I think, is that question on the federal application right now? I don't think it's on the corporate.
It's on the corporate.
The corporate?
Yeah.
If I had to make an educated guess, I would probably say it's referring to your parents in regards to that question.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, so if my like older sister graduated from college, I can still say like, yes, I'm like the first one to graduate.
And you're the, that's a good, I'm thinking through this. So the question, I would answer that yes, you are first generation college student because the previous generation did not go to college, right?
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Next.
Is there a certain GPA requirement for different majors or the same for everyone?
3.0 is sort of the major that we throw out. As I said in the presentation, I've seen students who have lower GPAs than 3.0 get into the program. And then I've seen students with incredible GPAs. I don't think GPA is one of the elements of your application. It's not the only element. Writing an essay, articulating your thoughts, how you do in an interview, those are all part of the competitive process.
I agree. It's the same with the corporate as well. We do typically recommend a 3.0 GPA, but many times our corporate partners will work with students who don't have that requirement. If you have other areas like such as you articulate yourself well, your application stands out, that'll be more of a determining factor other than just your GPA requirement. The next question I see is, what opportunities are there for a jurisprudence major? I guess that would probably be for the federal.
Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
Yes, I wanted to know what kind of opportunities I can expect for a jurisprudence major.
That's a good question. I don't work that closely with the students, but I'll just repeat, we take on all majors. You'll find a biology major working at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. You'll find a biology major working at the National Science Foundation. Jurisprudence, I don't know exactly where, but trust me, if you're a good candidate, an agency and our program manager will try to find you the right internship.
Yeah, again, don't be you the one who put the block in front of you. You send it, you do it, you do the best you can in these applications and let be of what is going to happen, because you don't know when the person reads it, with somebody from the agency reads it, what they are going to feel about it. I just want to also ask on behalf of everybody, because that's the question that is going to come to me after we finish this meeting. It is, if anybody has questions on the application, specific questions on their applications, who should they contact?
We have a email. It's hnip@haku.net. I'll put it in the message chat, and you can send your questions there. And then somebody in my office will be able to look at those questions and answer them appropriately.
And I'll type in the same email address as CHNIP for the corporate application.
Great. That's the question on my behalf, because I know that they're going to come. You do not have a lot of time, but you do have enough. Also, you start classes next week, so maybe working on this application this week and making sure that you grab your professors or supervisors early enough for their letters of recommendation or support. So please make sure that you write down where you can ask the questions if there are specific questions.
Hey, Ray, I don't see the email address for the federal.
Well, I think I sent it to somebody under private, so let me change the.
Oh, okay. Make sure it says to everyone.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think Ebony just put it. Thank you, Ebony.
Great, thank you, guys.
If I were to apply for the for the HCU, the HACU, and let's say then because the deadline is February 12th, right?
For the federal, yes.
Oh, okay. So if I were to apply for that one, let's say, and I couldn't take it because I couldn't. Let's say if I were to apply and then I got accepted, but I couldn't take it because I spoke to my advisor and I can't do it with my practicum. is it okay to refuse the offer? Or would it look really bad if I were to?
No, I mean, at that point, you have decisions to make, and you have to make the best decision for yourself based on whatever considerations you're taking into account. Once again, putting yourself out there, I think, is the most important thing. So if you don't put yourself out there, then you'll never know. You won't have an option.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Any other questions here? This has been a very robust presentation, or I should say exchange of questions and answers. So I really appreciate all of the questions. Somebody says that they're a sophomore. Let's see. And trying to pursue a business major. Which one would you recommend to apply for? I would say the same thing. Apply for both.
Apply for both.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I'm just wondering, what are any advice that you could give so that you could stand out in your application?
Oh, well, as I mentioned before, I would say if you're not comfortable doing phone interviews or you don't know how to edit your own resume, go to career services. I cannot stress that enough. I know students are not really comfortable asking for assistance with those types of things, but that's what they're there for on campus. So I would say just having someone coach you with a mock interview, go over with you how to review your resume, make sure that's very polished before you submit it over to us. And then, like I mentioned before, just displaying throughout your application and throughout the phone interviews with us that you're really dedicated to doing a great job on the internship, and that you have a willingness to learn, you're passionate. Those things will make you stand out, I think, with our application process for the federal and corporate internship program. Ray, anything else to add?
No, I agree with everything that was said.
I think that there is a question that is similar to something that you already answered, but I think that it's a new transfer student, and although Lisbeth is saying, although you will be a student at Montclair State University, so you are eligible, the official transcript is not going to be from Montclair State University because she will not have the grades from here. Is that okay? Is still okay for her to?
Yes, you would have to go back to your old institution and provide the transcript from that one.
Okay.
Another question is, can we briefly explain the benefits that this program would bring to us if we are accepted?
So from my end, you're getting a practical experience. You're applying your knowledge from your academic studies into an internship. It'll allow you to see what your strengths and weaknesses are as a professional. You'll get some mentorship because you'll have a supervisor or supervisors at your agency that will take an interest in seeing you do well. And that's important because you want to build up professional credentials and confidence as you move forward in your life. And you also get to participate in a program, not during the age of COVID, but if you were if we weren't operating in COVID, you would be participating in a program with a lot of other people who are your age, and obviously you're meeting people, and that's always important because it increases your network. Ebony?
Just to add on to that as well, like Ray mentioned, getting that real world experience in terms of, doing an internship. And what I mean by that is a lot of times you're going to be your first quote unquote job that you're going to be working. So just knowing how to handle yourself in a professional environment, showcasing a good work ethic, and then just taking your experience that you learned from the internship and applying it to future endeavors in your academic and professional careers. I think that's going to help you build your confidence and keep on pushing forward in terms of what you're going to look for in your eventual career path.
And we have one last question here. It looks like the eligibility requirement states a minimum GPA of 3.0. This is my first semester at Montclair State University. How do I go about that?
So it's your first semester at Montclair State. You're technically what, a freshman?
I was going to ask the same thing. Yes. Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
So you need to have completed your freshman year requirements, meaning whatever your status is as a freshman, you need to complete the requirements, so you are then considered a sophomore by your home institution. If that's 30 hours of coursework, you need to achieve that. If you're not there yet, then you could not apply for the summer. If you will be there by the end of the spring semester, and you are technically a sophomore by the time June 1st hits, then you can apply for the summer program. The enrollment of verification, which is one of the documents that you submit in the transcript, are ways that we check to make sure that you are complying with the program requirements and the eligibility.
I have a question about the recommendation letter. So I only been at Montclair for one semester, but I got my associates in high school and I graduated last year. But would I be able to get like a letter of recommendation from one of my professors that I had there when I got my associate?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Well, I want to thank once again my colleague Ebony. Like I said, this was a very robust conversation. You know, if we're getting all this interest, I hope that we get a lot of applicants and participants from Montclair State. Okay.
Yes, I hope so too. I would love to see that. If you have any questions, please, you do have the emails there. I thank you, Ebony, and I thank you, Reynaldo. Like always, Haku always being there anytime and every time we call. And appreciate you taking the time. And for all of you, go for it. Please do not stop yourself. Go for it. And also remember that this is only one of the times of the year, that there are other ones that are coming. So be attentive, make sure that you have the due dates, and that if you need anything from my office, to please reach out. And if you need anything that is specific to the application, send the emails. And thank you very much. For our students, I wish you a good starting of the spring semester, as crazy and weird as it is, and it has been, but we will prevail and we'll do it. Again, if you need any help, if you need support, if you do not know, if you are a new student, if you are an old student, whatever will be, just make sure that you reach out. And it was great to have you here. Thank you so much, Ebony. Thank you so much, Reynaldo. See you soon in person, hopefully, you know, after all of this craziness. So everybody, bye, take care, and see you.
Thank you.
For having us.